You might have noticed that I shoot a lot. I mean, I take a lot of pictures. And if you are anything like me, well, you know that going through hundreds or even thousands of pictures from a trip to select the best ones can be a very daunting task. But fear not, because over time I've developed a process that is relatively fast and painless to select my best images, and I wanted to share it with you in this video. I use Lightroom CC for this, but you can use any software that allows you to organize your photos in albums or folders or anything like that. You can even use regular folders in your hard drive. The idea is very, very simple, but before I even start going through the images, I like to wait. Sometimes that's a few days, sometimes it's a much longer time. For example, I only recently went through the images that I made well over a year ago in South Dakota at the Badlands National Park. The reason why I like to wait is because, well, images take some effort and time to make, but some of them require a lot of effort, a lot of time. Maybe we have to drive really far away. Maybe we have to go on a really hard hike. Things like that that might trick us to think into thinking that the images are better than they really are. The goal here is to look at our own images the way a stranger would look at them, as much as we can, of course. The reason is because everyone is going to look at them that way, if we are lucky enough to have anyone looking at them. But if we do have someone looking at them, they're going to look at them that way. Only you know what it took to make that image, the effort and the time that it took. So I believe that if we can look at the images that way, we are going to be better at selecting the best ones. Okay, so once we are not attached to the images anymore, it's time to start selecting the photographs. And the way I do this is instead of making a selection from the huge, very big set of original images, I like to narrow them down in a series of steps. And after each of those steps, I have fewer and fewer images until I end up having just a handful of images, hopefully the best ones. I have several folders that represent each of those steps. I call them 0, 1, 2, 3, well, you get the idea. I have 4, but you can have as many as you need. Let me show you how this would work with a quick example with some images that I took at the Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado. As you can see, I have these 7 that are very similar to each other. The reason why I have so many of the same composition is because the light kept changing. If you watch the video and you remember that there were some clouds that were moving really quick and that was creating a lot of patterns on the sand. So I kept taking more photos because I liked this composition a lot and it was changing really quick. As you can see, all of them are in the folder that is called 0. So that's the first step. And I've already made the selection here, but what I would do is I would go this one, I will look at it, this one. As you can see, they already have flags rejected and picked. So I've already gone through these ones, but that's what I would do. From these 7, I chose 4. Those are the ones that I like the most. So what I would do here is I select the 4 that I like the most. I move them to the next step, that is folder number 1. I remove them from folder number 0, and the ones that I don't like, I just delete them, so they are gone. So now those 4 go to the next step, that is folder number 1. In the next step, I would narrow those 4 down even farther, hopefully getting 3, 2, or even just 1 to the next step. And this is not always easy. This is not always an easy decision to make. I don't dwell on this. I don't spend a lot of time, at least in the first steps of this process. I am very quick. And if I have to move 4 or 5 or 6 images that are very similar to each other to next step, I will, because I will have more time and many fewer photos to select from in the next few steps. But the goal here is to move quickly and narrow those photographs down from hundreds to just dozens or even fewer than that. As you can see, the final step of this process is the folder that I call to publish. Every image that makes it that far well, is gonna make it to my website. I consider my website to be the main repository for my work, is where I publish all of that. I post images on Instagram, Twitter, or even here on YouTube, but most of those haven't gone through this whole process. It's just a quick selection that I do just to share more in real time my work. I work farther on those images. I edit them a little bit more. Some of them will never make it to my website. So yeah, my website is the final goal here, and the prints, of course. This is basically it, how I go from a lot of photographs, like for example, this most recent road trip. I don't have the exact number, but it was somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 photos that I took. I am down now to 1,000 photos. That will go down to probably 100 or 200 in the next step, and hopefully I'll end up with probably 50 to 60 images from 3 weeks of shooting across the Southwest. And that's how I do it, how I go from a lot of pictures to just a handful of them without going crazy. I would love to hear from you. If you shoot a lot, how do you handle that? How do you select the best images? Do you do something similar, or do you just go insane every time you have to do it? But yeah, this is it. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.